Coach Rivera, thank you for joining us for this. We know this is not a conversation that you have wanted to have, but you did address the team last night announcing your news, and the world kind of got it at the same time. The fans, the staff, people are having a hard time kind of trying to digest this. You had a little bit of extra time to get that, but now that the news is kind of out there, how are you and your family doing?
We're doing well. We really are, Julie. I think the biggest thing, more than anything else, and part of the reason, wanting to get the message out was to get it out the right way. We wanted to make sure people understood that, what I am afflicted with right now is most certainly a very treatable and very curable disease. I'm very fortunate. I have what's called squamous cell sarcoma. It is a cancer. It did get into my lymph node. And it's a very treatable one. There's been a very high success rate. So I fall into that category. And so there's an opportunity for us to take care of this and be able to go forward.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you can expect from the treatment? And how is this going to impact, your daily life of having to try and run a football team?
Well, the biggest thing more than anything else is, first of all, as we continue to finish mapping out what the process is going to be, what the treatments are going to be like. My understanding is, I will treat every day for 5 days a week for 7 weeks, 35 treatments. And, we're going to be doing some therapy, some proton therapy. There will be some other stuffs involved with it. But again, we've got some of the finest doctors in this area. We're very fortunate to live in this area. And what's going to be the tough part most certainly will be just trying to manage time. I hope to be able to do these treatments and not have them interfere with football. It's been recommended that I continue to work at a good pace, a smart pace, listen to what the doctors tell me, follow the protocols. It's kind of like what we're supposed to be doing today, follow the protocols, wear your mask. Well, follow the protocols, do your treatment, do do the other therapy they have you doing, and just follow it. And so that's what we intend to do. And again, as I said, hopefully with the way things will be mapped out, it won't be in the way. It won't interfere with football, but it'll be part of my rehab, and that is to keep working, to stay focused on my treatment, my personal health, but at the same time, distract myself when I need to.
How are you physically feeling now?
That's the thing, and it's funny because Dr. Castellaro asked me how I was feeling, and I said, honestly, I'm a little bit angry. I'm not quite sure how this happened. This is the healthiest I've felt in a long, long time. In all honesty, I lost some weight. I've been working out, doing things the right way. Had a great summer. I really did. We took about 20 days off. Went out to California to visit my family. Got COVID tested so I could go see my parents. Saw my brothers and their families, and so really just got into a really good place. And then got home, and unfortunately, I was diagnosed with this. And but physically, I felt good. I thought practice has been going well. I had good energy with the players. We've been practicing at an up tempo, and been doing the thing that I normally do. And so I was really disappointed and surprised, concerned, scared at times. But truthfully, I feel good. I am looking forward to getting into the therapies and following the protocols and getting this taken care of.
You said it was because of a self-check. When did you first realize that there was something wrong, and to know that this is something that you need to have checked out as well?
Well, Julie, it was interesting because I was shaving that morning, one morning, and as I was shaving, I felt a little bit of a lump, and so I kind of thought about it. The next morning when I was getting up, I kind of felt a little strain in my neck when I turned. I thought maybe I pulled something, and I thought that might have been it. So I kind of checked it, kept an eye on it. I treated it like I would, pulled muscle. And it didn't go away. So I reached out to Dr. Castellaro, the team doctor. He had me come in. He took a look at me. He said, let's keep an eye on it, and I'll see you next week. And then I came back next week, and it hadn't gone down like we had hoped. So he went and got me checked, and after a couple other follow-up checkups, it was determined that I was stricken with cancer.
You wanted to tell this news to your team first, and
Yes.
to make sure that your guys knew what you were going through, what you were dealing with. But because you have known this for a few weeks on your timing, what is it that made the timing now the right time for you?
Well, because it really took about 3 weeks to get everything in line. And I wanted to make sure everything was as close to being ready to go as possible. The people here at Inova have been tremendous. At the Cancer Center, it's been just great. And so we've been able to kind of put things into place, and we're getting ready to finish up what the protocols will be, what the treatments will be like. And so that was, I felt, a good time. It gives the guys enough time to kind of digest it. I wanted to do it the walkthrough before their day off, so they'd have time to get away. They wouldn't have to answer a lot of questions from a lot of other people, and so they could take care of that situation and then get back and get focused back on football. And I wanted to make sure they knew that, I have the opportunity to be well, to be healthy, and to be rid of this. And it's just going to take a matter of time. So I wanted to do that and share that with them. And once I shared it with them, I knew it was going to break. So we wanted to, try to get the messaging out that, hey, this is a serious situation, but we caught it early because I did a self-check. I followed up with the doctors, and the doctors followed up with me. I think it's so important everybody understands that we have good health care in this country, and you need to take advantage of it.
I've talked to multiple players already about how that meeting went, what their reaction was. And every single one of them came back to me with the exact same word, that they were shocked. And they just didn't know how to react. They didn't know what to say. They're trying to process these emotions as well. They're trying to process, what does this mean for us and what we're trying to do? How do you even go into kind of having that conversation and the follow-up conversations that you have to have with them as well?
It's gone through my mind over and over and over again, how was I going to do it? How was I going to do it? So what I did was I had a meeting before with the players, before we went out to work out. And I kind of left them with a little bit of a message at the end. And that's basically, you can have everything taken away from you but one thing, and that's your right to choose, and choose how you're going to approach things in your life. They can't take away your opportunity to choose your attitude. And I left that with the players. And when I brought them back in, I gave them the news, and I said, look, I still control my attitude. I control my outlook, the way I'm going to approach this. And so I just wanted to share that message with them. I think that helped. I think it helped them. I think it helped me more so than anything else. And then, I started getting text messages from the players. There were some really cool ones. But one that I really appreciated was from Alex Smith. And I texted Alex back and told him, I said, look, with a guy like you, I find strength. And I really do, because a young man who's gone through what he's gone through, and he wants to wish you the best, it's easier to find strength in a guy like that.
We as a team, as a company, are going to try and find ways that we can handle this as well going forward. And, everybody knows somebody in their life that's impacted by cancer, that they've lost somebody by cancer. You yourself have you lost your brother to cancer. Is that something that when you get this news that makes you pause for a minute at what you're facing?
Yes, it did, because, the thing I really didn't want to do was tell my mother, more so than anything else. But, in my opportunity to speak with my mom and get my point across that, hey, I'm going to be fine. I've got every opportunity. I've got great doctors. There's been a good prognosis. Now it's a matter of getting through the treatments and the therapies. And so, I was able to put her mind at ease. And then talk to my father, and my father, having been a Vietnam veteran, an Army veteran, he took it just in stride, like I had a feeling he would. And when he understood, when I explained to him, he understood what I was going to be faced with. I think he realized that, hey, I have a good opportunity to get healthy again. So it's just a matter of following the protocols.
You mentioned time's going to be a concern going forward, but going through treatments is going to be a demand on your body.
Yes.
And already camp is a demand on your body and your mental capacity to be able to handle it and get through all of that. Where do you go to try and say, how do I manage my time? I mean, we've seen different coaches that have gone through this, Chuck Pagano with leukemia going through this and having to get treatments and still trying to be there with the team. Like, Where do you draw that strength from?
Well, it's interesting because Chuck was one of the guys that reached out to me last night. We texted back and forth, and it was really awesome. And again, I honestly, when I first was getting ready to be diagnosed, I said a little prayer. And then after being diagnosed, I said a little prayer. So I do find strength in reaching out and speaking to God. And again, that's one of the places that I will go. Family, I'm going to get a tremendous amount of strength from family and my extended family, from the folks here in this organization, to my friends that I have all over this great world. I'll reach out to those folks, and again, I'm getting a lot of positive messages right now. So there are people that do care, and people that do want to try and give you some strength, so you can rely on them, and that's been very uplifting. And again, I knew, I didn't want this to become the distraction that it can become. So I wanted to get it out early, and I do know that my time is going to be limited in certain aspects. The other thing that's been great and tremendous too has been how Mr. and Mrs. Snyder have reacted. Mr. Snyder's basically told me, he said, hey, do what you can, and if you need to back off, back off. Whatever you want to do for your health's sake, do it. And so I had a great conversation with our coaches today. I talked to the coordinators, and Jack Del Rio went through something like this when he was in Denver with John Fox. Coach Fox had a situation, And Jack went through it, and Jack had to take lead on a couple things. And so Jack and I had a nice talk today, and he was terrific because he's been through it. And so I feel comfortable and confident about, our plans going forward. And if anything were to happen where I had to step away for a second, I feel very comfortable, very confident in who our coordinators are as well.
I know Dan and Tanya Snyder, they sent out a letter to the team saying that they support you. And I had lengthy conversations with them. And I know they did with a lot of the leadership board here at the company, the franchise, on wanting to say that they wanted to respect you going through this, what you wanted to go through this, to give you the support to go through this. And they want the company to feel supported as well. Because it is something that's emotional. It is something that impacts a lot of lives, knowing that you physically and your family are going to be going through this as well. But there has to be another plan. And I know you just kind of mentioned a little bit, like, what is the backup plan? What is it for that day where you say, you know what, it might be too much. I might need to just step back, take care of my health, and leave football to somebody else for the day.
Well, the interesting thing about it, Julie, is one of the first things the doctors told me is, hey, look, we're don't stop working. Do what you can. It helps. We found that people that kept themselves busy, stayed focused on what they do, helps them. It helps distract from the situation and circumstance they're in. And they did say too, but there will be a time you may have to step away for a day or two, or maybe a week or two. But you can't be afraid to do that, because it is about your health. And we find that people that are able to do that when they need to are the ones that get healthier faster. So again, I'm going to stick to the protocols. I'm going to listen to the doctors and do things the right way. If it does come to that, again, as I said, Julie, had a great conversation with Jack. I've talked with Scott, and I've talked with Nate. And the one thing that Jack said that, he and I really were discussing was, it's about making sure everybody does their job. Everybody has their job. And what may happen is, at one point or time, somebody may have to step up and say, okay, guys, this is a scheduling, this is how we're going to do it, this is what we're looking for, and this is what's expected, now let's go out and get it done. And, and again, it's really, my messaging, but Jack may be the one that has to step up front and do it. So again, we've talked about that, we're prepared to do that. And I think, again, the one thing too is that we'll put a bit of the onus on the players. This is, a little something that as a coach, you always hope that the players buy in and they take ownership of situations, circumstances. This might be a great test to find out exactly where we are in this process of developing this football team. Are these guys ready to step up and take ownership on something?
You came in broad shoulders, thick skin, and you come in to turn around a team with 3 wins. COVID hits, the team name change happens. We're trying to get this going in the right direction. And now this, are you just a magnet for drama? When you look back at this year, is there anything you can pull on? I swear, I feel like when I took this job, we were saying, finally, it's just football, and all of that is behind us. And no, it's taken to a new level now.
It is. It has been taken to another level. And that's the thing that I've kind of found interesting, is that, we've been able to cope with and deal with and just keep going forward. And sometimes it's through the adversity that we gain strength, and that's something that we need to take this as an opportunity for us to grow and become stronger. And again, my approach will be that I just really believe that we do get tried, we are tested, and as I said, a guy like Alex Smith, for having gone through what he has, and has shared a message with me, I truly do find strength in people like that, especially a young man like Alex.
I've had a lot of fans already reach out to me wanting to know how they can support you. What do you say to those fans?
I appreciate it. I really, truly do. Just whatever you can do, I truly, I don't know what to say, but I appreciate their thoughts. I've gotten some great messages from a lot of people that I've known, and, I've heard a lot of nice things, and just, that the best thing that we all can do is just, do our jobs, do what we're supposed to do.
Well, they are here for you. I know the team is here from you. That is the one thing the players said as well. Well, they were shocked that they want to make sure that they don't let you down through this process as well. Look, it makes us stronger. And in the end, we know that's going to happen. We appreciate you talking with us, sharing this. We know it's not something easy to discuss, but, maybe it also encourages somebody else to do a self-check. And if there is something that they say, wait a second, maybe we need to get this checked out before it comes too late. So thank you on that level for sharing your story.
I appreciate it, Julian. Thank you for helping put this out.
All right, go to work, will you?